Picture yourself at a bustling airport, the kind we've all trudged through with our suitcases and coffee cups, when suddenly a German shepherd named Rex starts barking like his life depends on it. This isn't just any bark, it's a desperate, relentless cry aimed straight at a pregnant woman standing about 30 feet away from the gate. She freezes, her eyes wide with shock, one hand resting on her belly as if to shield it from the chaos. Around her, passengers clutch their phones, whispering to each other, some stepping back like they're dodging a storm. Even the officers nearby tense up, their hands hovering near their belts, unsure what set Rex off. Officer Mark, Rex's handler, a man who's seen this dog sniff out trouble from 50 yards away, tries to hush him, tugging gently at his collar. "Easy, boy," he mutters, but Rex won't quit. He snaps at the air near the woman, paws at her carry-on bag, then circles back to her belly, his bark sharp and urgent. It's not anger in his eyes, though. It's something deeper, a plea no one can quite translate. The woman, shaken to her core, raises her hands in a shaky surrender, tears pooling as she stammers. "I don't know what's happening. Why me? I haven't done anything." Her voice cracks, and you can feel the fear radiating off her, the kind any of us might feel when singled out by fate. Mark's seen Rex react before. Drugs hidden in luggage, a whiff of something dangerous in a crowd. But never like this. This isn't the cool, calculated focus of a trained canine. It's raw, almost frantic, like Rex is shouting a warning only he understands. The crowd swells. Security rushes in, and phones start recording. Folks nowadays can't resist a scene. But no one knows if this is a threat, a misunderstanding, or something else entirely. For us older folks, it might call to mind those trusty dogs from our youth, the ones who'd growl at a stranger before we even heard the knock. Rex's desperate barking isn't just noise. It's a lifeline, a call to action, and soon enough, it'll prove he's the only one who sees the danger hiding in plain sight. There's something special about a dog like Rex, a German shepherd with a badge and a heart bigger than most folks you'd meet. At that chaotic airport gate, about 100 feet from the check-in counters where travelers shuffled with their boarding passes, Rex wasn't just doing his job. He was tapping into something deeper than any training manual could teach. Sure, he'd been schooled for years to sniff out trouble, explosives tucked in a suitcase, narcotics stashed in a pocket. Even the faint chemical shifts in a nervous suspect's sweat. Officer Mark, his partner, could tell you stories of Rex picking up scents from 50 yards away, his nose like a radar honed by countless drills. But that day, as Rex barked and pawed at a pregnant woman's carry-on bag, then swung his focus to her swollen belly, it wasn't about the usual suspects. This wasn't the calm, methodical canine Mark knew. No, Rex's eyes were wild with a kind of urgency that made your stomach drop, the way a loyal mutt might howl before a tornado hits. Mark knelt beside him, hands steady on the collar, peering into those deep brown eyes, and saw something beyond training. Instinct, pure and raw, like a sixth sense no human gadget could match. For us older folks, it's the kind of thing that takes us back, maybe to a farm dog that'd growl at a rattler before we saw the tail, or a pup that'd nudge us away from a rickety porch step. Rex circled the woman, barking not at her face but lower, toward her middle, then back to the bag, his movements jerky, almost frantic, like he was piecing together a puzzle no one else could see. The crowd, maybe 20 feet back now, watched in hushed confusion, some filming, others clutching their bags tighter, while security hovered, unsure if this was a false alarm or a crisis. Mark knew Rex's record. This wasn't random, but it wasn't about bombs or drugs either. Those would have been sniffed out clean and quick. No, Rex was sensing something invisible, something alive and wrong, buried deep where checklists and scanners couldn't reach. It's the kind of mystery that sticks with you, the way our grandkids might marvel at a smartphone while we nod at the wisdom of nature. Training gave Rex the tools, sure, hours of drills, commands sharp as a whistle, but instinct, that's what set him apart, a gift no trainer could plant, only nurture. It was as if Rex felt a ripple in the air, a silent scream from the woman's womb, and he wouldn't rest until someone listened. In that moment, he wasn't just a police dog, He was a guardian, proving that sometimes the heart knows what the head can't figure. A lesson us old-timers have seen time and again in the dogs we've loved. At that crowded airport, about 50 feet from the buzzing ticket counters, the scene with Rex the German Shepherd was already a whirlwind, his barking echoing off the high ceilings, the pregnant woman trembling, and Officer Mark trying to make sense of it all. The tension hung thick, like the air before a summer storm back home, and everyone, passengers, security, even folks filming on their phones, thought maybe Rex had sniffed out something dangerous in her bag. But when they rummaged through it and found nothing, no drugs, no explosives, Mark's gut told him this was bigger than a routine bust. He'd trusted Rex for years, seen him pinpoint trouble from 30 yards away. But this time, the dog's focus kept darting to the woman's belly, not just her luggage. That's when Mark made the call, his voice steady but firm. "I want her checked, not just the bag, her vitals, everything." For us seniors, it's a moment that might stir memories of a family doctor who'd catch a fever before the thermometer did, relying on feel over fancy tools. The paramedics hesitated. After all, who calls medics over a barking dog? But Mark's tone left no room for doubt. They guided the woman, pale and shaky, to a nearby bench, her hand clutching her middle as if she could shield the life inside. Minutes ticked by, each one heavy, with Rex sitting alert, his eyes locked on her like a sentinel. Then one medic froze, his voice low. Her heart rate's through the roof, over 120 beats a minute, but her blood pressure's dropping fast, down to 90 over 60. And wait, the baby's heartbeat, it's erratic. You could almost hear the pieces click into place, like when you'd find a missing puzzle bit under the couch after hours of searching. Rex hadn't been chasing a criminal threat. He'd sensed a crisis no scanner could catch, a silent emergency brewing inside her womb. Her sky-high pulse and sinking pressure weren't just nerves. They were red flags of something deadly, a ticking clock neither she nor anyone else had noticed. For those of us who've watched grandkids grow or held our breath through a loved one's surgery, it's a reminder of how fragile life can be, how it can turn on a dime without a whisper of warning. The medics' faces tightened. They knew time was slipping. Maybe minutes, not hours. An ambulance screeched up outside, its lights flashing through the terminal windows, and they whisked her off, Rex still watching as if he knew his job wasn't done yet. What started as a dog's frantic barking had peeled back a hidden medical crisis, one that could have ended in tragedy if not for his stubborn, unspoken alarm. It's the kind of story that sticks with you, proof that sometimes the smallest nudge, a bark, a hunch, can shift fate when the stakes are highest. The airport chaos faded into a blur as the ambulance sped the pregnant woman away, its sirens slicing through the clamor about a mile from the terminal. Inside the hospital, roughly 10 miles from that crowded gate, the real story unfolded. A story Rex, the German Shepherd, had been barking about all along. The room was quiet except for the steady beep of monitors, a sound familiar to anyone who sat by a loved one's bedside. Nurses moved fast, their faces tight with focus, while the woman, pale, sweating, gripping the bed rails, fought through a fear she couldn't name. The OB/GYN, peering at the emergency ultrasound screen, whispered a grim diagnosis: placental abruption. For us older folks, it's a term that might ring a bell from those anxious days awaiting grandkids. A complication where the placenta peels away from the womb, bleeding inside with no outward sign. The doctor's words hung heavy. She'd been hemorrhaging, maybe for hours, a silent killer ticking like a clock with no chime. Without Rex's frantic warning back at the airport, 50 feet from where passengers milled, both she and her baby could have slipped away, lost to a danger no one saw coming. It's the kind of thing that takes you back to when life felt simpler, when a dog's howl might have warned of a storm brewing over the plains. The staff froze for a split second, then sprang into action, rushing her to surgery faster than you'd hustle to catch a late flight. Mark, still shaken, sat in the hallway with Rex at his feet, the dog's tail now wagging slow and calm, as if he knew he'd sounded the alarm just in time. Hours later, after what felt like days to anyone who's paced a waiting room, the doctor emerged, mask off, a tired sigh escaping. "She's stable," he said, "and the baby's alive. We were seconds from losing them both. That close call, measured in heartbeats, not miles, hit hard. Placental abruption doesn't shout its presence. No sharp pains, no gushing blood. Just a stealthy thief stealing life drop by drop. No human eye caught it, no fancy machine flagged it. But Rex did, with an instinct sharper than a Midwest farmer's weather sense. For seniors like us, it's a nod to the quiet heroes we've known. Maybe a pup that nudged us from harm, or a friend who saw trouble we missed. The hospital buzzed with the news, words spreading like wildfire through the halls and back to the airport, where folks who'd grumbled about delays now marveled at a dog's wisdom. Rex's barking had peeled back the veil on a hidden crisis, proving that sometimes the smallest voice, or the loudest bark, can rewrite the ending. It's a tale that sticks, a reminder of how thin the line is between here and gone, and how one loyal soul can bridge it. In the quiet hospital hallway, about 10 miles from the airport where Rex's barks first pierced the air, Officer Mark sat with his German Shepherd, the weight of the day settling like dust after a storm. Hours earlier, roughly 50 feet from a bustling gate, Rex had zeroed in on a pregnant woman, his desperate cries turning a routine security check into a race against time. Surgery had come and gone, and now the doctor stepped out, peeling off his mask with a weary smile. She's stable, and the baby's alive. We were seconds from losing them both. For us seniors, it's the kind of close call that echoes those nail-biting moments, waiting for a kid's fever to break or a spouse's test results to come back clear. Rex's persistence had paid off, saving not one life, but two, and the news rippled fast, from the hospital's sterile corridors to the airport's buzzing crowds. Folks who'd backed away in confusion, maybe 20 feet from the drama, now swapped stories of the dog who wouldn't quit. Mark looked down at Rex, his tail wagging slow and proud, ears perked like he knew he'd done something big. The same officers who'd tried to hush him earlier now ruffled his fur, calling him a hero, words that fit like a medal on a veteran's chest. Then came the husband, rushing in from a business trip 500 miles away, unaware how close he'd come to losing his wife and unborn daughter. When he met Rex, words failed him. He just dropped to his knees, wrapped his arms around the dog and whispered, "Thank you," tears streaking his face. That moment, a man's gratitude meeting a dog's quiet dignity, snapped a photo that went viral, shared thousands of times across screens from coast to coast. For those of us who've watched Lassie reruns or leaned on a loyal mutt through tough days, it's a scene that hits home, proof that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wag tails. Word spread beyond the hospital, hitting the airwaves and papers, though no headline captured it like those who'd stood there. Hearts pounding as Rex barked his warning. He'd gone from a disruption to a legend, a four-legged guardian whose instinct outshone any machine. It's a tale that warms the soul, the kind you'd share over coffee with old friends or tell grandkids to show them what loyalty looks like. Rex didn't need a voice to save the day, just a heart tuned to trouble and a bark loud enough to wake the world. For seniors like us, it's a nod to the unsung saviors we've known. Dogs, neighbors, kin, who step up when it counts. 2 lives breathed on because of him, a rescue etched in a husband's tears and a nation's awe, all sparked by one dog's unshakable will. The tales of Rex and Max, 2 German shepherds, who saved lives with their uncanny instincts, carry lessons that hit close to home for us seniors. Rex's barking uncovered a hidden medical crisis, teaching us to trust those gut feelings, whether it's a hunch about a loved one's health or a nudge to check in on a friend. Max's vigilance exposed a frame pilot's peril, reminding us that truth often hides beneath the surface, and patience can unravel it. Both dogs show that heroes don't need words, just action and heart, something we've seen in the loyal pets or quiet neighbors who've lifted us through tough times. For those of us over 50, these stories urge us to listen more, to our instincts, to the small signs around us, like we did before life got drowned in noise and screens. They also whisper a call to value the unsung saviors in our lives, maybe a spouse who steadies us or a memory of a dog that once guided us home. In our golden years, it's about cherishing what's real, Trust, persistence, and the bonds that save us when the clock's ticking.